Okay, so if you just want to begin introducing yourselves.
Sure. My name is Soufiane Benali. I am the new technical support specialist at Shift Collaborative. I assume any support roles with regards to our clients, and additionally, I work as a system administrator for the company and a cybersecurity specialist as well.
Hi, my name is Logan Yovetich, and I am the digital marketing intern for Shift Collaborative this summer. I help out with optimizing the campaigns in Google Ads for some of our clients, as well as assisting in SEO efforts for the company. I'm a junior at the University of Pittsburgh, and I'm excited to help out Shift in any way I can this summer.
So question 1, when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? And what would your childhood self say about what you're doing now?
When I was a child, interestingly enough, I wanted to be a weather woman, which is a pretty interesting and random role. I was very intrigued with the way they would chase after tornadoes and predict these huge storms and weather days in advance. So I wanted to talk about weather on TV. Obviously, that's not what I ended up doing in my career. I think my younger self would be proud of the position I'm in today, although she would definitely be confused since digital marketing and Google Analytics weren't really around 20 years ago.
When I was a child, I wanted to be an astronaut. Yeah, I guess my childhood self would be kind of disappointed, although they probably think it was cool that I get to work with computers.
Okay, cool. So question 2, what is your proudest accomplishment personally or professionally?
This past semester, I had the opportunity to study abroad in Sydney, Australia, and that was definitely a big undertaking for me. Traveling almost 20 hours across the world, I was definitely intimidated. I worked at an international internship, so not only did I have to adjust my personal standards in living in a foreign country, but I also had to adjust to the foreign work culture of working in a foreign country. So definitely a huge accomplishment in being able to adapt to that situation, and definitely one of the most rewarding experiences in my life.
So my proudest accomplishment is, as you guys know, I moved here to the United States 2 years ago to join my wife, Tessa. The process was extremely long and unpredictable, but I would say my proudest accomplishment is to have been able to, establish a life for us alongside my wife, and getting settled and in the U.S. and in Pittsburgh. And I think that just the present is my current accomplishment, and I'm proud of it. I guess that makes sense.
Question 3, if you were a superhero, what power would you have?
My superpower would definitely be the ability to control time, and that I would want to fast forward the boring parts of life, like sitting in traffic or going on long car journeys or plane rides. And I definitely would want to slow down fun experiences in my life, like traveling and spending time with my friends and family.
Awesome. What about you, Soufiane?
I would say teleportation. There's I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Jumper. So this guy, it's like a poorly rated movie, but I liked it because this guy who discovers that he has the power to teleport. And in one scene, he just teleported himself to Egypt on top of the pyramids, and he was having breakfast there. And I've always thought it was such a cool superpower to have, because you get to be everywhere at all times whenever you want. And so that would be my superpower of choice.
Awesome. Question 4, what originally got you interested in your current field of work?
My interest in marketing stemmed from my current favorite TV show, Mad Men. When I watched the show, I was super intrigued by the way Don Draper kind of connected the quantitative side of things by looking at market research, but also combining the creative side of things and discussing plans with his clients and taking the advice that they gave him and their interests and combining it with his own expertise to create this great advertisement. So I was definitely inspired by that. And although the advertising and marketing world in 2020 is certainly not what it was on Madison Avenue in the 1960s. It's definitely interesting now to see how far we have come with digital marketing and technology in that time.
What about you, Soufiane?
I've always been interested in computers and technology in general. I remember when I was a kid, I was getting, magazines. I made my parents give me magazines, and I convinced them when I was 12 to, buy me a bunch of parts and built a computer. And, so I've always been interested in the field. I didn't think I could make a career out of it. And it sounds weird because I'm talking about computers, but in where I'm in Morocco, there really isn't a demand for it. So when I went to school for economics in my hometown, Meknes, Morocco. But when I moved here, I just thought that it would be a great, opportunity for me to fulfill something that I've always wanted to do and I've always been interested in. So I just pursued it, and so it's more like, it's a lifelong, like a passion, I guess, an interest.
All right, and question number 5, what show did you binge watch most recently?
I recently watched the show Waco on Netflix, and can't really be described as a binge because the series is only 6 episodes, so it wasn't that big of an undertaking. But it was super interesting to me because although I was familiar with the story of David Koresh's cult in 1993, it was so interesting and almost haunting to see the experience living in their cult at that time firsthand. So I definitely watched all 6 episodes within the same day.
And what about you, Soufiane?
So we've been watching Downton Abbey, Tessa and I. I've been binge watching it. She's seen it before. I had never seen it. Somehow convinced me to watch it with her, and I like it. And that show is such an emotional roller coaster. And we've been watching 3 to 4 episodes per night since like the start of the quarantine. Well, that doesn't make sense, but like at least like 3 times a week over the past few months. But.
All right, and question number 6, what is your favorite part of the workday?
My favorite part of the workday is at the end of the day when we all come together during the co-work time. So basically this is a time when all of us jump on a conference call and turn on our video, but we turn off our mics. So we all just kind of work independently, but we also have that time to kind of relax and get to know each other and just kind of bounce ideas off each other. So I love that time to be able to collaborate with the rest of the team.
Yeah, I agree with Logan. So since I started working here in mid-May, I've never officially met my coworkers in person. So those meetings were very helpful to just getting to know everybody and getting acclimated with the office culture. So I would say definitely that.
Yeah, I think that's true for a lot of us. It's been helpful while we've been separate.
For sure.
All right, so what has it been like to meet your new coworkers and go through the onboarding process remotely?
It definitely has been an interesting experience as Soufiane and I have both joined the Shift team in the midst of the pandemic, which has been certainly non-traditional, but interesting and exciting in its own way. It's nice, as I mentioned before, about the co-work time, getting to know everybody. Even though we can't be in the same office, we can still collaborate and work together virtually, which has definitely been, a great experience. As well, it has also taught me to adapt to situations that I might not be familiar or comfortable with, and that, a traditional workday takes place with other people working with your team in person, but I definitely have adapted to this kind of way of life we have created now.
For me, it's been wonderful. You guys have been very welcoming. The Shift Collaborative team is awesome, and Cynthia has done a good job in including me on some other project with everybody else. Since my job tends to be kind of like isolated in nature because most things I do are just somewhat not don't really involve other team members. So I've been working closely with Cynthia, and it's been wonderful to get to know everybody. And I've been a fan of our optional office meetings at the end of the day, but it has been a very, very awesome just a couple of weeks or a few weeks working at Shift Collaborative. Yeah.
This might be a hard one for you, Soufiane, but Pirates, Steelers, or Penguins?
For me, Steelers all the way.
Well, in Morocco, we don't really, follow American football or hockey or baseball. So I'm just thinking, it's always soccer. It's always been soccer. So I would say Manchester United. I guess if that's an answer.
You traitor. That's an acceptable answer.
Yeah. So.
And finally, before our lightning round, what excites you most about your position at Shift?
I love that working at Shift Collaborative, I have the opportunity to work on a team of other intelligent and creative people who have a lot more experience than I do. So not only do I get to bring my experience in digital marketing and SEO to Shift, but it's also a learning experience every day, and that I encounter new projects and new clients and new techniques for going about digital marketing. So I love that I'm always learning new things and I get to apply my skills.
I would say working with everybody as well. I like, discussions about various elements that go into a digital marketing firm. And I'm always fascinated by, how I fit into the kind of like ecosystem of a digital marketing firm. I do like that my position, the way it was described to me initially by Cynthia, was kind of like a clean slate, that they wanted to establish this role for the first time. And I guess this allows me certain, freedoms to discover it alongside everybody and to develop on it, and just adds, a personalized touch to the position. So, and it is everything I've always wanted to do. So it's just kind of like, I guess the freedom element of, the position is what I like the most.
All right, and now we're entering our lightning round. Don't think too much about it. No whys or hows, just this or that. All right, are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so coffee or tea?
Tea.
Coffee.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
I'll say dogs too, even though I have a cat, but dogs are better.
City or suburbs?
Definitely city.
A city as well.
Chocolate or peanut butter?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Marvel or DC?
DC.
Marvel.
Heinz or Hunt's?
Heinz or nothing.
I agree, Heinz.
iOS or Android?
iOS.
Android.
Soda or pop?
Pop.
Pop.
And that's it.
Woo. How did we do?
I think you did well.
I feel like Logan was way more prepared than I was.
No.